Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and I know that you guys are smart. You read the top of the screen today, so you know that I'm about to talk about Errata, but the question was, what do these 5 cards here have in common? And that is that they've all had their effects changed over the years. So, I did a Yugi rant about the traditionalist and like how people just really don't seem to play traditional anymore. I actually found out that there's quite a few areas that I just don't live in that actually do partake. So that was actually very cool, a little bit enlightening. But then we got into a little bit of a discrepancy with a couple of comments. One seemed to accept the truth, one did not, and it's going to be a teachable moment. So what we need to do is add this to the list of how to Yu-Gi-Oh play videos, and describe and explain errata, because guys, it's, I guess, more common than it should be. So just real quick, what do I mean by errata? Let's go to Google, and I did do the search, Konami's rule on errata. And of course, you know, the Yugi fandom, the Yugi wiki is actually one of the best places to find this stuff, because these guys just put together some of the best resources for you. So errata are changes to any part of the text of a card other than the card name. We don't need that. That occur between reprints of the card. Errata can be made to be made to a card for a variety of reasons, including to fix mistakes, update terminology on the card. And what we're saying with that one is, like, Pot of Duality never really changed, but they went from you reveal 3 to excavate 3. So that's what they mean by terminology. To clarify the behavior of a card so the ruling is easier to understand. Again, they did the problem-solving text. Some errata specifically modify the functionality itself, usually in a way that makes the card less powerful, in order to remove it from the forbidden list. Okay, players are not required to own the most recent erratum of the card, meaning I do not need to own the newest copy. As you can see, I have a Sangan here. This is from Metal Raiders, and this thing is back from like 2002, 2003-ish, and it is 2022 while I'm filming this. So this guy's been in my collection upwards of 20 years now. And yeah, I don't need to own the new one to know how the new one works. Okay, that's just how that works. You're not required to own the newest one, but must always be played according to the latest erratum, even when using the newest or using the older copy. Konami recommends, and this is a word, you need to catch that keyword, they recommend using the most recent printing of a card, because not only will it be the most accurate, it'll be the less likely to involve any form of argument. So right there, Konami has come out and said this before. And again, I trust everything on the wiki. I am a judge. My friends are judges. Sometimes I misplay, okay? I'm human. It's fine. We checked with multiple other judges, not just myself, and not just in my friend circle. Yes, you can play these. They do suggest keeping like a list of the newest erratas, like either in a binder. So like if I want to play this cool older Sangan, they recommend, well, just carry another Sangan with you that has the same effect, or simply just sleeve that one up. Either way, you're going to be fine. Again, I'm going to show you guys an app that's on my phone and my tablet, and it keeps track of the most recent errata for you. So guys, if you guys are keeping your decks listed in an app like this, which is, again, a free download, not sponsored by them, but if you do that, then you will always be able to see the most up-to-date text, and that's what we're going to use to verify some stuff to show you guys today. So what do these cards do? Why were most of them banned? At least I'm thinking these 2 got banned at some point. I know the Center 3 did, and I do want to say the Witch did. I'm not so sure about my Tri-Eye Potato over here. But what makes these so bannable? Well, first, when Witch and Sangan leave the field and go to the graveyard, their original effects were to add a monster with 1,500 or less defense from deck to hand, or 1,500 or less attack from deck to hand. Now, of course, they took away the must be shuffled back later on in the battle pack, because it was just considered to be like a generic, you cherry pick, you go through your deck, you're going to have to shuffle. So again, the earlier cards would have this last line. Your deck is then shuffled, which is, again, another thing that we don't need to worry about. How did these effects change? Well, let's grab the handy-dandy tablet, and let's go ahead and clicky-poo. So we got our Witch. If this is sent from the field to the graveyard, add a 1,500 or less defense from the deck to the hand. But you cannot activate cards or the effects of cards with that name for the remainder of the turn. You can only use this effect once per turn. And again, if you played Monster Reborn on Witch and you were using something like a Cannon Soldier, so you were like, I summon Cannon Soldier, I attribute my Witch. I'm going to go ahead and add a card to my hand, and I'm going to play Monster Reborn. Play the Witch back, and I'm gonna sacrifice the Witch again. You would have gotten 2 searches back in the day, and for some of the Time Wizard slash, and I don't think it's gonna work for like the official Time Wizard rules, but if you go back and you play like purist GOAT format, I do believe a lot of the players will insist that you play the way the card activated back in that time period. So if there was not yet an errata for the card, you're not going to be playing with the errata effect. At which point, Witch plus Cannon Soldier plus Resurrection equals Exodia, I guess. But you would have been able to do that multiple times in a turn as long as you could resurrect. And again, my boy Sangan, same basic thing here. Cannot activate the effects or the cannot activate cards or the effects of cards with the same name for the remainder of the turn. And again, it is just a once per turn. It's to make them more fair because again, they are cherry picking cards. They're literally built. These were literally designed to help us with our early game strategies. And again, Witch was like the first one to go because Witchy Lady here, she was able to like just grab like Summon Skull and Jinzo and stuff and add that to your hand on just like a base tribute. So like, yeah, she was kind of nuts, right? One of the ones that we actually had the vocalization about in the comments was this Ring of Destruction. Now, guys, I actually talked about the Ring of Destruction errata when I was playing the Lair of Critias because I was using the Fang of Critias with like I think it was the Ring of Destruction. I want to say I was using the Crush Card Virus Dragon and the Mirror Force Dragon while playing Lair of Darkness because it was like a really cool concept. And of all the decks that are my favorites these days, I'm starting to have like a serious special spot for the Lair of Darkness. But this is the original text. It was target a face-up monster card on the field. Destroy that target. If you do, inflict damage to both players equal to the target's attack. So again, why was this unfair? Well, if I was in a losing position because my opponent made like one really good play, I could just be like, nah, I'm going to destroy the big guy. We both take 3K, so it's a draw. So that win that you were about to have, you're not allowed to have that because it would hurt my record. Or in another instance, you are about to win, but like, let's say it's this 2,800. Instead, you had 1,500 life points and I have the 3,000 hit points. Well, now I'm able to do this and I'm able to actually zero out your account. And again, I mean, I get it. That seems fair. But once you get into all the decks that we have today in 2022, this kind of effect is just too overpowered. And again, this isn't Magic the Gathering. We don't just like cycle cards out every so many sets and then bring them all back whenever they get a reprint. Instead, we are just seriously, we keeping every card since the beginning of the game, 20 years worth of cards. And you're going to have to modify some effects. Now, the way that this one operates today, let's go ahead and pull it up. Plus, we're going to get to see a little bit of the lost art right there. It's actually a little ring of grenades, kind of cool. During the opponent's turn now, target a face-up monster that they control only, whose attack is less than or equal to their own life points. Destroy that face-up monster, and if you do, you take damage equal to the original attack first, then inflict damage to the opponent equal to the damage that you took. You may only activate one copy of this per turn, which is another thing I didn't say. This, you used to be able to set 3 and activate 3 in a same round. So again, if the opponent sets up this good big board, you're able to just sit there and just like, yeah, I'm going to triple detonate. And that's going to be it. That's going to be the whole game. Again, a little heavy-handed, and maybe it worked better in that time period, but in today's time period, like this is a non-starter. So we do have to add those additional restrictions. And I can add this to my deck. None of these cards are currently banned. But even if they were, if we were playing traditional, And these cards were all, forbidden in the advanced format, which means 1-ups for traditional. I could still run this, but I need to run it using the new text. Again, that is what Konami will allow you to do. And that's what they expect you to do. Dark Magician to Chaos. This one, I actually have the Errata in a physical card as well. So let's go over the original effect. When is normal or special summoned, you may target one spell in your discard pile, add that target to your hand, banish any monster destroyed by battle with this card, and if this face-up card would leave the field, banish it instead. Not a bad effect, but again, because you get the spell back on summon, he was able to generate a crazy thing. It was like Dimension Fusion spell card, allowed you to pay life points or whatever to bring back banished monster cards. And then you'd use a Cannon Soldier, or you'd use the spell card Mass Driver to do your tribute, deal damage. And then you had Spell Economics, which is just like this absolutely unheard of spell anymore. It's a continuous, and it says you don't pay life points to activate spell cards. So the 2,000 points that you pay for the Dimension Fusion is simply free now. So you summon this guy, you get a spell back, whatever. You tribute him, you deal the 4 or the 500 based on the effect. He gets banished, you play the other spell card. Spell goes to discard, he gets summoned. He is summoned, you get the spell card back. You tribute and insert your loop. So again, kind of broken. So we needed a fix. So the way they fixed him, during the end phase, if it was normal or special summoned, you can add a spell from your graveyard to the hand. Use this effect only once per turn. So again, if you played more than one, you only get one. And if it destroys an opponent's monster, then again, banish that after damage calculation. If it leaves the field, it still gets banished. So again, this is another instance where the card was strong in its time. Still a strong card, but now it's more fair to everybody who has to play against it. And then there's like my favorite one, and like I don't remember which of the Chaos Dragons it was, Dark Flare or Light Pulsar, but there was like a time period right before that structure deck got released where this guy would have been a fair to bring back card, and then as soon as they did it, they made like a terrible soft lock mistake, and it just allowed you to do some creepy things with this guy. So number one, this guy's also a misprint, so like he's been pulled out of a case just for today. And the misprint is actually the word "your" somewhere in here. Inflict 300 points of damage to Yoru opponents. It's supposed to say your opponents, so it is misprinted. I think all of the Lost Millennium promos are, but it's just a cool piece to my collection. It's going to go back in its hard case later. This cannot be normal summoned or set. Can only be special summoned by banishing one light and one dark from the grave from play. Pay 1,000 life points, send all cards in both players' hands and the entire field to the discard. Inflict 300 points of damage to Yoru opponent's life points for each card sent to the graveyard by this effect. Now, the soft lock revolved around one of those two dragons, and again, it might have been the Light Pulsar, but when it gets sent from the field to the discard, and again, this effect would do that, you are allowed to bounce another dragon back from the discard to the field. So you couldn't summon this guy. At least I'm fairly certain you couldn't do this because it can only be, means that that's the only way that you're special summoning this card. There's no monster reborn for him. But instead, what you would do is you'd go for the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, which would then again bring back, I believe it was the Light Pulsar. So again, if they did hit the field like a Dark Hole or something, cool. Then the Light Pulsar went. We can bring back the Red Eyes Darkness Metal, and then on the next turn, we could go ahead and activate the effect and bring back the Light Pulsar, generating a semi-soft lock of dragons. Now, this is a crazy cool effect, and there's many ways this could be broken. This guy was banned for so many years, and again, like the totality of this was you could either attack the opponent directly and send everything, or maybe you had some cheesy effect where you did what I said, and then you could do some sort of soft lock where sending the cards is actually what triggers the cards so that you do end up with cards on your side of the field after the fact, which is what breaks this card. Let's see how they made it fair. And again, they released with the new text. I want to say it was during Toon Chaos. So I know I have a copy. I just don't know where it is right now. So the new one, again, cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned from the hand by banishing a light and dark monster from the graveyard. Once per turn, you may pay 1,000 life points, send as many cards in both players' hands and field to the graveyard as possible. Then inflict 300 points of damage to your opponent for each card sent to their graveyard. So it used to just be sent to the graveyard. Now it's only going to penalize them for their cards. So that's fair. You cannot activate other cards or effects during the turn you activate this card's effect. That is the biggest part of this. So I know a lot of you are going to be like, well, that's effectively banning Chaos Emperor Dragon. No. Effectively banning him is putting him back on the forbidden list, changing his effect text to make him more fair so that more people can enjoy the game and play these cool cards. That is Errata. It is two separate things. And believe me, I get it because I played almost the entire time. There was a period during like pendulums that I'm not exactly... I wasn't in the game as much, but I played a lot of these cards. Like everything here on this table right now, these have all been in my deck at one point or another. I have played the most broken way that you could play with each one of them. They're all cool. They're all great. And I'm glad I got to try them when they were at their like full power. But to be 100% honest, I don't want to play against somebody who's going to be playing some sort of weird turboed Exodia where they get multiple copies of Witch and Sangan. We've got Monster Reborn. We've got World Legacy Successor or something. We've got enough ways to bring cards back to then get rid of them again with the link summoning in order to abuse these types of search effects. I don't want to deal with that anymore. The Ring of Destruction, honestly, 1 per turn. That is fair. You don't have to agree with the way the card works. Just don't run it if you don't like it. But it is a good card. Just like you don't have to play. You don't have to play any of these. You don't have to play this game. But if you're going to, then you do want to always look up the erratas and stuff because it is what is going to get you to being able to do all of the things. And again, that app is YGO Deck. It is on the Android marketplace. I'm not sure if that's on Apple at all, but I don't know. I have Android devices because I'm a rebel and I'm not a cool kid. So if you guys have, just like a little Samsung tablet or something, just some generic, past phone or whatever, that app will let you like just totally input your entire collection. It'll let you input all of your cards. Depending on how much you like messing with the settings, you could actually playtest the decks against each other or against somebody who has physical cards across the table if they're okay with it, because it technically does have all those functions. It's a good app, and the best part is they do their best to keep it updated. And when I say that, I mean they always have the newest, freshest erratas. So it's never a question of what does my card do? And it's my favorite way to prove errata to somebody is just to, again, have that on my phone. And because just show you real quick, I bounce into it real quick. We go, this would be the opening screen. You'd come in, you'd find your deck, and I don't know, just let's find a Layer of Darkness deck. Let's see what's in here. So again, something like Crush Card. Crush Card did get changed a while back. So you could go into the Crush Card, and it'll tell you how they no longer get their cards destroyed for 3 turns. Again, I think all my copies are actually up to date. But again, this would allow you to do that. And it also has got this little ticker right here. Let's bring it in. The little dots mean it's available in those formats. And so it does say TCG, OCG, Speed Duel, Duel Links, and Rush Duels. So just in case you are keeping track of where you have your cards, it'll tell you what you have, where you have it. You can hit collection. You can see where they are. So I have 6 copies in my trunk that's sleeved. I have another 3 copies in my unsleeved trunk, which means they're going to go into something else. I've got some copies in Common Charities, so maybe I'll move that over to there. Obviously, it's not in Speed Duel, so again, don't have to worry about that too much. It's just good all around. It's a nice utility. But if you're looking for a good, easy way, instead of lugging around an entire binder, do consider downloading that app if you have the capability. It's just really good. Again, I'm pretty sure Konami has a card database one that's mixed into their, what was that app that they just released one. It allowed you to keep all of your deck lists and stuff. Neuron, if it might be part of the Neuron app. So guys, that's it. That's it for today. Don't be afraid to play cards that have erratas. Just know that they always have to be played with the up-to-date effect text. And just try to enjoy it. It's a game, guys. Like, seriously. I don't know what else to say. Hopefully this helps somebody. Hopefully this helps a bunch. And I'm going to have some more content coming up here soon. So if you guys do like the channel, maybe like and comment and subscribe and all the fun stuff. Maybe I haven't quite earned it yet. Well, maybe this is the first video you've seen. I have hundreds of other videos. Go ahead, check them out. Maybe one of those will earn the subscription and a like and a comment, and it'll help us be seen by more players. And then hopefully the resources like this with the How to Play series will just be like a good gift to the community. All right. So all that said, do me one favor. You have to do this one, okay? Because you sat through all of this. I want you to go out there. I want you to have a good day today because I said so and you're worth it, okay? You need to know that. I'm telling you. So you guys have a good one, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Later.